How are you this evening?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. You ready?
Okay. This evening's meeting will be broadcasted live on the school's YouTube channel. Mr. Conrad and Mr. Zeitz are attending via conference call. At this time, I turn the meeting over to Mr. Conrad.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I appreciate you putting up with the evening meeting from New Orleans. But anyways, at this point in time, I'd like to call the meeting to order. And I would appreciate it if you would join me in reciting the Pledge of Allegiance and roll on. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you all very much. Thank you. Roll call, please, Mrs. Linda.
Mr. Conrad,
Here.
Mr. Hawley,
Here.
Mr. Harrison,
Here.
Mr. Jacobs,
Here.
Mr. Marburger,
Here.
Mrs. Miller,
Here.
Mr. Nickel,
Present.
Dr. Orozco,
Here.
Mr. Shingleton,
Here.
and Mr. Zeitz.
Here. Thank you so very much. Can anyone tell me if there's any public to be heard?
No public to be heard.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
So, Mine looks like, Oscar, do you have a report for us?
Yes, I do. Thank you so much, Mr. Conrad. At this time, I'd like to introduce our alternates, Mr. Derek Shingleton from Butler area and Mr. Mike Jacobs from Seneca Valley. Thank you for coming. Thank you, everybody, for coming this evening. At this time, I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Ryan. He's going to introduce our outstanding student of the month.
Our outstanding student of the month for this month is Cody. You want to come up here and join me over here? Cody is a student in our auto body collision repair program. He is a third-year student from Butler School District, and during his 3 years degree, he has maintained an A average. Currently working at Kosminski Auto Body, so he comes here during second session, leaves from here, and goes to work. And he's able to join us tonight, so we're pleased with that. Mr. Peters is instructor nominated because he said he's a hardworking student, has a great work ethic. He's willing to help out other students in the program if he sees that they're struggling or in need of some support, even whenever Mr. Peters might not be available. And he's just willing to take on any task that's assigned to him. So he just has a lot of great qualities that make for a great employee for a potential employer. And he's exhibiting that at Kosminski Auto Body. Mr. Peters has received some good reviews of his abilities and his work there as well. So very pleased. And I have the final here to present to you, Cody. Thank you for outstanding student for the month of September. Thank you very much.
Can I quickly take a photo of you presenting the plaque?
Sure.
We also applaud.
He's fun.
Congratulations.
He knows he doesn't get away.
I told you you'll have questions.
So this is your third year.
Yes,
You're a senior at public school, is it?
Yes, sir.
And so is it Kosminski Auto Body? I mean, what are your thoughts? What are your plans post, finishing this year?
I think I'm gonna stay there, if I'm gonna be completely honest. There's a lot of people that have made a living off of it, and they have families, and they're doing good for themselves. So it's something that I think I'll be able to stay with.
And I mean, if you think back a couple of years, what brought you over here to this organization, this institution?
Honestly, what brought me here was I figured I was gonna wreck my car and I was gonna need an
Love on
What would you say to fellow students, some of the freshmen and sophomores who are at Butler or any other district about, why they should consider coming here for those things?
It's just a great program. You can tell that the teachers actually care. They don't, like Mr. Peters doesn't really want to have these balls in his class and just move around. But then again, you can't just work. You gotta have some kind of fun. So you gotta find a happy medium. You can tell he cares.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Here's a question for you, Joey. When you were on the job, the skills that you learned here, you feel competent with them? Do you feel good about the other coworkers?
Yeah, they're obviously more experienced. They've been doing it for a lot longer, but I can keep up with them pretty good.
Every profession has its own language, and I trust
Right.
that you can at least carry on the conversation with your coworkers. Then.
Right,
That's
yeah.
wonderful.
That's right.
Cody, right?
Yes, sir.
And just help me with this. How did you figure you were going to wreck your car? Now, that was 3 years ago. It's not the same evaluation you had yourself now.
I've grown up a little bit.
I just wondered if you've considered, at some point having your own business and thought about further education.
I've thought about getting my own business, but that's gonna be way down the line if that happens. And as for like college or something like that, it's not really needed for this kind of work. So I think I'm gonna stick with my black and see where it takes me.
I will say, just as a former principal, just last year, as soon as I saw them, I walked in here and realized, you've never been in trouble, so your name didn't ring a bell. So, but anyway, you work very hard, and he's one of the students, right next to Mr. Peters, working hard. And you're gonna continue to learn your body, no matter what you're going through in that job. So I'm very impressed with you, I'm very happy.
Thank you.
Great, that's the best answer I think you got, why you should turn on the funniest. So I appreciate that, made me laugh.
Thank
But I'm
you.
glad that you're here and you're doing it right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Drive safely.
Yes.
Congratulations.
You don't
You can stick around, it's so much fun here.
Feel free to pass out cards for those of us that might not have grown up quite as much as you.
Have a good night, guys.
Continue with my director's report. The updates to the agenda, the bill list. Director's newsletter is exhibit 1. Our enrollment chart is exhibit 2. Attendance report, exhibit 3. Conferences, exhibit 4. Grant updates, Karen Russell has assigned offer for the health and student support contract services. Spring Hockey will run October 27th through the 30th. Our fall occupational advisory committee meetings are scheduled for September 24th and 30th, which is passed, and then October 7th, 8th, and 14th. We will have a virtual tech fair this year, Thursday, October 15th. It will be live on our school website. The following previously approved auction items have been removed from the auction list: a green manufacturing cabinet sandblasting, and then a 2-foot slip. Our finance subcommittee meeting will be on November 5th at 6 p.m. and then the next regular days meeting is November 5th at 7 p.m. That is all I have, Mr. Conrad.
Thank you so very much, Dr. Heiler. I greatly appreciate that. And if I may entertain a motion in a second from the JOC to approve the director's report.
So move, John, it's Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
I'll second. Stop here.
Thank you so very much. And any further discussion or questions?
John, if I may, it's Jim Nickel, just Dr. Howlett, if you could just speak to, here we are on October 1st. So we should be at a steady state in terms of enrollment programming. Any thoughts or comments about where we're at, either program by program, district by district. Just your thoughts and comments overall about the enrollment here, this year this school year 2020, 2021.
Honestly, I'm quite pleased with the enrollment in all of the programs. I was concerned that we were going to have a huge drop and we did not. We started with 940. And I believe some kids have decided to do online learning and do that through their study school or not. I'm sure that happens every year. Not even online learning, to decide to do something else. But program by program, I haven't seen any concerns. I believe that every program is functioning where they should be.
Okay.
Yep. And every school very supportive.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I have.
All right, thank you. Any other questions or comments? May I please have a voice vote? All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Here's the motion passed unanimously. Second item, meeting minutes, September 3rd, 2020, is shown in Exhibit 5. May I please have a motion and a second to approve those minutes?
So moved, Jim Nickel.
Thank you, Jen.
Second, Doug Miller.
Thank you so very much. And any further questions or comments regarding the minutes? Okay, all in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Thank you so very much. Moving on to the policy. We have the first reading of policy 103 regarding non-discrimination. May I please have a motion and a second to approve the first reading?
Jim Nickel, so moved.
Thank you.
Anita Roscoe, second.
Thank you so very much. And any further discussion or questions?
Yeah, John, I had talked to Tom Griff earlier today, and I believe you spoke to Regina and so forth as well. The way we had it on our packet was that we had the policy in all the procedures. And I had some concerns for the way the procedures, how, who's listed as coordinator, all that kind of stuff. And I believe he's going to review some things with you on that. So if we could make sure that I would move that I guess on the ask first, has that been taken off? So now we're only approving the first reading and not the procedures.
In all honesty, the procedures do not have to be approved.
Right.
We just wanted you to see them, but the policy is what we do.
Okay, so I just want to make sure that, so that the rest of the school directors understood, so we're not approving all that, because I think there's some changes that need to be made there that we can go over at a different time.
Right, you can change those later.
Right.
So as far as the minutes go, the exhibit will be the policy. I can remove the attachments.
Yeah, so the attachment should be completely removed so that that does not become public, and then we can discuss it.
And just to be clear, so the attachments are related to procedure.
Correct.
Procedure does not need to be, does not approve of a joint operating committee.
The money.
Okay. So then all we need, so do we have a modification to the motion in a second?
Well, the motion only reads the policy, but it does have entitled procedure and practices, so I think we would have to modify the motion so that it's just the policy and eliminate the procedure and practice.
Yes, that's what
Okay.
So I make that motion.
So who was the, did I make the motion?
Oh,
So I'm agreeable to the modification of the motion. Who was the second?
Orozco?
Is it okay?
One second.
okay.
And again, this is our first reading. Is it still the typical 3 readings of a policy, or is it
Two.
like a two? Okay. So we'll be looking to finish the second, in, whatever month.
November
5th.
Yes.
Alrighty. Are there any other concerns or questions?
I'm not trying to be difficult, but that is what it is called, the procedure next to school classroom. I mean, but I get your concern, if you want to rename it, that's fine, it's not me now, but that wasn't, but that's fine.
Dr. Heather, if you would please, could you crank up your volume just a little bit?
You know what, it didn't even matter what, just that the intent is just to have the policy approved.
Yeah, so we're.
The name of
just
the
read
policy.
policy 103, and that way it ends any confusion that we're not.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you for clarifying.
John, I think we're good.
Okay. Roll call please. please, Mrs. Lorenzo.
Mr. Nickel,
Yes.
Dr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mr. Zeitz,
Yes.
Mr. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Shingleton,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Marburger,
Yeah.
Mr. Holly,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
and Mr. Jacobs.
Yes.
Thank you. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you one and all. Moving on to new business. We have donation of tree hoods, tree light fenders. We have a job description for the clinical instructional assistant. And we also have an educational membership for the Butler AM Rotary for Dr. Hyler. May we have a motion in a second to approve those items?
So moved, Bill.
Thank you, Bill.
Second, Deb Howard.
Thank you so very much. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, I'm hearing none. Roll call please, Mrs. Lorenzo.
Mr. Holly,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Marburger,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Mr. Zeitz,
Yeah.
Mr. Shingleton,
Yes.
Mr. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Nickel,
Yes.
and Dr. Orozco.
Thank you very much. Motion passes once again. Thank you all. Moving on. Oh, by the way, Dr. Harris, do you have a need for executive session this meeting? And wait at the end of the meeting?
I do not. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so very much. Moving on to personnel. We have one item on our list of hiring instructional assistants as shown in Exhibit 8. May we have a motion in a second to approve that item?
So moved, Jim Nickel.
Thank you.
Second, Bill.
Thank you, Bill. Any further discussion or questions? Okay, I'm hearing none. Roll call, please, Mrs. Lorenzo.
Mr. Nickel,
Yes.
Mr. Holly,
Yes.
Mr. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Dr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
Mr. Marburger,
Yes.
Mr. Shingleton,
Yes.
and Mr. Zeitz.
Yeah. Thank you again. Motion passes once again unanimously. Moving on to finance. We have the financial reports that are shown in Exhibit 9, and we have the bill list that's shown in Exhibit 10. And we have a motion in a second to approve those items.
So moved, Jim Nickel.
Thank you, Jim.
Second, Deb Howard.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. Any further discussion or questions on those items? On hearing none, roll call please, Mrs. Lorenzo.
Mr. Nickel,
Yes.
Mrs. Miller,
Yes.
Mr. Zeitz,
Yeah.
Mr. Conrad,
Yes.
Mr. Holly,
Yes.
Mr. Jacobs,
Yes.
Dr. Orozco,
Yes.
Mr. Marburger,
Yes.
Mr. Harrison,
Yes.
and Mr. Shingleton.
Yes.
Motion passes once again. Thank you all. Before we adjourn, is there anything anyone would like to bring to the board? Okay, in that case, I'll take a motion in a second to adjourn the meeting.
So moved, Jim Nickel.
Thank you.
Second, Tom Harris.
Thank you. All in favor, say aye, please.
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned. Thank you one and all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Here.
Good evening.